Alright, we're going to try this again. This is the fourth attempt to go live tonight. Fourth attempt. And it does look like I do have one channel that's going up live now, so hopefully that'll work. Okay, it does look like I'm live now. I'm getting a squawk back now, and I can see myself. So I'm hoping that that means I'm live. In a real world, that would mean I'm live, but who knows? This is the alternate reality world that we're stuck in here. Alright, here we go. I think everybody's finding us now. I'm going back. I think I can go back to the old chat room over there. Let me see if it's still up anywhere. No, I guess not. When I restarted my computer, it restarted everything. Let's see. Go here. Alright, there we go. I stuck it in the old chat room. Yep, and that brings him right into here. So hopefully that will get anybody, and I'm also pinning that message. Alright, there we go. Okay, so hopefully everybody will find us over here now. Let me switch back to the proper one here. I'll have to go delete all that other bullshit out later. I don't know what happened. This does happen sometimes. But it hasn't happened in a long time. But usually resetting everything on my end seems to fix it. And so it does seem to have done it yet again. Okay. As of 3 days ago, my channel is now 5 years old. Do you believe that? 5 years old. 5 years old. 3 million hits. 1,100 published videos and 25,700 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, and I hope to continue to grow here and continue to do even better and bring even more diverse programming, different kinds of programming. I'm hoping that this will continue to do well. I just, as you know, took a lot of my YouTube money that I've had saved up, and some I just got, and I went ahead and purchased all of my remote broadcast equipment. I now have 2 complete sets of equipment. I have a complete set here, not to mention all the other stuff here, but I have a complete broadcast system here. I have another complete broadcast system here with my Linux computer, and then I have 6 other computers that can broadcast a lot of things. They're not gaming computers, they're business machines, but they do well. Then now I have a broadcast laptop. It's 64 gigs of RAM. It's got a Ryzen 9 in it with 12 cores. This thing kicks ass for a laptop. It's a 17.5 inch. It's huge. And with that laptop, I was able to do a complete sights and sound show the other night. And I was so happy about that, because now if I want to go visit family or visit friends or stay overnight somewhere, that doesn't mean I have to sacrifice the show. I can still do the show from a hotel room or my car even. So this is really cool. And I'm not limited by... I went ahead and spent the extra money. I could have spent $300, $400, and I could have got a laptop that would have got me by. But I didn't want to give up any of what we already have, and I wanted to be able to do it in the field. And so that's what we do. I spec'd a laptop. It was a lot of money. It was like $1,400 and something, and then I got over $200 off of it on Black Friday. But I spec'd it to be like this one here, a Ryzen 9, 12 cores, except I have 32 gigs of RAM. That one has 64 gigs of RAM. I didn't want to deal with it. It's got a 1 terabyte DDR5, or it's 64 megs of RAM, and it's DDR5 memory. It's really fast memory, and of course it's got a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, and it's built to perform. It does have a video card in it. It's built to perform, and it should do all of the things that we need it to do here going forward. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and doing more with that. I've got all the programming in it. It took me a day or two just to get Windows 11 under control. So far, it's working fine. Everything I'm going to be honest. I'm the first one to criticize, but the only way that you can be respected when you're the first one to criticize is also if you're the first one to praise, and I think that's important. And so I was very negative about Windows 11. I still have a lot of questions. I still don't like some of the things they've done with it. I still don't like some of the restrictions with it. But that being said, I now have a laptop with Windows 11. And it only took me about 3 hours to find a video and then find the program that the guy talked about in the video, load it into my computer, and now my Windows 11 computer looks, acts, and feels just like a Windows 10 machine. It's great. All the menuing, all the file managers, all the start menu, the taskbar, everything is square again. It looks like Windows 10. I hate the Windows 11 look. They made it look exactly like Apple. I think it's a ripoff. I don't like the way Apple looks in the first place. So I changed, instead of changing my laptop back to Windows 10, not a good idea. This is a brand new laptop. It was built to run Windows 11. Not a good idea to roll back a computer that was not already on the previous operating system. If you've got a 10 machine and you go to 11 and you don't like it, reinstall 10 Pro back on that thing. Don't stick with 11 if you don't like it. 11 doesn't work well in machines that weren't designed for 11. However, 11 machines don't work well with Windows 10. I went online, I read some horror stories. I decided not to try to roll mine back to 10. Not to do a destructive reinstall where there's no way back. It worried me a little bit, and I saw some verbiage in there I didn't like. And so I went and I asked AI the question, what if I don't like Windows 11? I like Windows 10, but I realized I cannot do it. What do I do? And it says, and it came up with this guy's video, and I watched it, and I showed you guys the program. I told you guys the program, it made my Windows 11 machine. It is, I can't tell. It looks, if you told me it was an 11 machine, I'd call you a liar. Everything, right down to the background image on the screen. I went and downloaded the red version of the Windows 10 background screen, and I changed all of my stuff to red, like I like it on my computer. And now when you look at it, it looks like a Windows 10 machine. It even has the Windows 10 logo on it and shit. So I think it's funny. I do stuff like that because I don't like it. Like Windows updates. They made such a big ass honking deal about Windows 10's no longer under the protection and the watchful eye of Microsoft. Who gives a shit? Let me tell you something, okay? Every computer in this room, except the laptop over there in the bag, every other system in this room is running Windows 10 Pro. And it's a version of Windows 10 Pro that I've got on a thumb drive, okay? And I just install it on whichever computer I want. It's an old version of an old system, whatever. I go and install it, and guess what? The first thing I do is I go through the 6 steps. Hey, Daddy, come say hi. I go through the 6 steps of making sure that it will not update. Now what I have is literally a 7-year-old version of Windows 10 running in everyone. Even this computer here is running right now a 7-year-old version of Windows 10. Do I recommend this for everybody? Negative. No. If you do dark web stuff, you do a lot of bit streaming and torrent this and illegal that and black this and dark that, and well, let me tell you something. Probably a good idea. Stay active on everything. Keep you a nice antivirus running. Make sure your computer's updated. I would run a virtual machine and do all your bullshit inside a machine, inside the machine. It's kind of like the Inception version of for computers. It was like the dream within a dream within a dream. Well, it's kind of like that. You can literally run a virtual machine and run a Windows 10 machine inside an intrinsically sealed box that's inside your Windows 10 machine. Not physically, but you know what I mean. So you can then go and do your dark web stuff and your horse shit, whatever you're doing. Y'all have your little things you do. I don't know what they are. And you guys, when you go on and do that, go do it in a virtual machine. Don't ever do it on your actual machine. And that's number one, okay? And number two, if you don't do any of that shit, I mean, if you even your porn, you go to the same site every time, you know what you're doing, you don't go exploring, looking for shit, you're not into stuff you shouldn't be into, you're not doing weird things, that go, all right, that's it, you're pissing me off, go away. Then I think at that point, you don't need to, you could use Windows 10 for another 5 years because you're not going anywhere where you're going to get anything. You know, it's like carrying a gun. You know, I could carry a gun. I've got guns. I got a bunch of them. I could carry guns. I choose not to. You know what I choose instead? I don't go places where I'm likely to need a gun. And it's kind of the same thing with computers. You can protect your computer and buy all this stupid antivirus shit. I hate all that stuff because I think they're involved in making the viruses, but we'll leave that for another episode. But I do believe that when it comes to all this stuff, that the best thing you can do is to just avoid it. Don't go places like that. If you're going to go do stuff online that you know is high risk, learn how to run a virtual machine within your machine. And you can even run a Windows 10 machine inside a Windows 11. You can run an Apple within there. You can run a Linux or an Ubuntu. You can run a Windows XP if you want to. I had one in my old computer. I had to reset it. But for a while there, Joseph helped me install this virtual machine in there. And I actually had Windows 10 in it, Windows 7, Windows XP, and I also had Ubuntu, it was Linux in it, so I could practice with that. And I could have put Apple, I could have put different systems in it. And what it does is it's like a computer within a computer. It literally installs Windows inside this computer within a computer. You tell the virtual machine what kind of computer you want it to pretend to be like. You tell it how many RAM you want it to pretend that it has. How much ROM do you want it to pretend that it has? How much of everything do you want it to pretend that it has? And then it creates a holodeck basically inside your computer where we now install a fresh version of Windows 10 Pro into the virtual machine. And it thinks it's installing into a real piece of hardware, but it's not. It's installing into software that's running on your bigger machine. So basically, when you're running something inside a virtual machine, it can't get out. It's like trapped in there. And that's really cool. Which means you can go do your BitTorrents or your dark web shit or your shotgun approach with porn or whatever you're doing. And just do it inside your virtual machine. I personally don't even need one. I don't go anywhere where I got to worry about it. I'm running 6 or 7 year old Windows 10 right now. Does not update. I do not allow my computer to update. That new laptop, that Windows 11 laptop, when I opened the lid, it started a Windows update. I got so freaking pissed. I was so mad. I'm like, it didn't even give me a chance to get to a command prompt where I could stop it. And God, I hate Windows. And so I scrammed it, and I was able to get the thing to where I could get to a command prompt. I could get the Windows. Actually, it started up, and I went through the whole process, and then I had to go back and uninstall 3 updates that it had put in to into my brand new computer, and it's already trying to shove shit in there. I just hate Windows for what it does, but they all do it. Apple does it. Apple's worse, actually, more proprietary. Now Linux doesn't, but Linux is a lot more difficult to use. I'm still learning how to use Linux. So it's not like when people say, oh, why don't you just load Linux in that thing? That's a little harder than it sounds. You got to be a computer geek to do Linux. It's not Windows like friendly like Windows is. Anyway, I've got a Linux machine. I'm using it. I love it. It's the most efficient machine I have. It's not built near to the spec this one is, but it'll keep up with it in a race. And that's because it's not running Windows bloat. It's running Linux, which is very streamlined and very, it only runs what it needs to run. You ever run your task manager and wonder why there's 79 things running in your computer? It's ignorant. Why are you running? Why do you have Skype running? When's the last time you used Skype? I went in mine the other day. Brand new machine. Skype was running in the background. What? Why? So I've been slowly uninstalling everything out of that laptop that I don't need. And getting rid of all the games and all the bullshit and all the stuff I'll never use. All the Xbox and gaming this and console that. And just ignorant shit that you don't need in these computers. And I finally get rid of it all. Took me a while, but I'll finally get rid of it all. All right, let me see if I can get this chat room to come up now. I tried a minute ago and it didn't come up. Let's try it again. All right, let's hit this. There we go. Yeah, and they'll tell you, well, we own the software. We gave you a license to use it. And to that I say this. Yeah, forced updates are disgusting. That's why eventually I may switch everything to Linux. If I get comfortable enough with Linux, I'll start switching these out. I just haven't done it yet because I'm not comfortable enough. Yeah. Linux it's a steeper learning curve, but it's much more efficient use of your hardware. You can have a mediocre Windows machine and load Linux in it, and it will do things for you amazingly fast. You would be surprised. We put it in some old, like, clunker Windows XP business machine, and we got it working in there, and it actually worked halfway decent. It's because Linux runs really light. It's light and fluffy, kind of like pancakes. And it runs like that. Where Windows runs like a lead balloon. It just kind of hovers on the ground. Discrepity? Dom, no, I have not. Let me put that in my show notes. I've still got 2 things from last night I haven't addressed in my show notes. But let me get that in there. Okay. Yes, I use Ryzen 9s. My laptop has a Ryzen 9. This one has a Ryzen 9. I think the Linux has a Ryzen 7. Yeah, that's important, but all the other stuff's important too, especially with what I do. Video cards are very important. Decrapify. No, I haven't. It sounds interesting, though. I have used other things that claim to clean everything out of Windows and stuff like that. Um, yeah, most servers don't run on Windows. That's a fact. Most servers run on Linux or a version of Unix or something like that. Um, yeah, Rosin's about the best you're gonna get, man. I'm telling you. That's a damn good chip. That's what we're on right now. You're looking at me through one right now. And you see what I do on here. You see when I have 10 or 11 videos running all at the same time. And it does it. It does it. Every now and then you get a little twisty a little bit, but hi, Daddy. Say hi to everybody. Say, they're up there. They don't understand the concept of cameras. I can't. I don't know what else to do about it. Yeah. What you doing? Yeah, well, I can't pet you forever, so why don't you take off, Hoser? The guy up in the upper right corner, that's some meeting that's going on. I think it's over. I think this is looping. But they had some city meeting there in New Jersey, and it was apparently crazy today. And then in the middle, protests, anti-ice, I guess. I think it's camera people waiting on protesters. I don't know. But we'll leave that there. And then upper left is just news. And then that's really it. There's not a whole lot going on tonight, guys. It's a pretty slow night out there. Yep, I like my rosin processors. Cats in Zero Gravity on YouTube. I have not watched that yet. I'll admit it. Let me put that in my show notes. The show notes are how I keep promises. When I tell you guys I'm gonna go, I'm gonna see something or do something. If I don't put it in my show notes, then in the morning when I get up, I'll never remember it. And sometimes you can go back. I can pull chats and stuff, but that's a pain in the ass to pull a 600 line chat room down and try to go back and find something. 34 degrees in Fort Smith. Yeah, it's the front went through here earlier, and the cold will arrive a little bit in the morning. Tomorrow's not going to get that warm. And then tomorrow night we'll get, however, it'll get down to the 40s or something. It shouldn't be too bad here. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I know. It's always, even when we're at freezing here, you guys are at like minus 40, so it always seems to be the thing. There is some times where there's weird inversions. There's been times where like New Jersey's been 5 degrees warmer than Fort Myers and stuff like that, but it's pretty rare. I mean, it's usually, we're in the tropics down here. That Houston, Texas, that's warm. Yeah, it is. It's not too bad. All right, so let's see here. The one thing we did want to discuss mostly tonight, there's just not a whole lot of different stuff going on, but this Sunspot cluster, I showed you guys. For those of you just joining us, I'm going to put it back on the left on the inlay screen real quick here, so that you guys can see what this sunspot looks like. This is the cluster of sunspots, and yeah, look at that. It's basically 2 or 3 clusters with at least one outlier, and they're calling this mess 2 clusters, but as you can see, it's a mess. Above it there in black and white, the drawing that you see, that's the drawing in size scale that Carrington drew, in 1859 when he observed the Carrington solar flare on the sun. And you can see that we're dealing with something here that's nearly the size, or is the size, of the sunspot that produced the Carrington event. These sunspot clusters here, both of them, do have energy fields that could harbor X flares. And they are turning to be geo-effective, okay? A new NOAA model of yesterday's, remember that X2 we had yesterday? It was like a 1.9. Well, they're now calling it an X2. And remember that X2 solar flare we had yesterday during the show a couple nights ago, I think it was. They originally said the models were showing that it was going to pass without hitting us, but now they're saying we are going to get a glancing blow. A storm cloud could graze our planet on December 3rd. Moreover, the CME will scoop up a solar wind stream just ahead of it, adding heft to the potential impact. Now they're saying on the night of the 3rd, which is tomorrow night, we now could see G2 class geomagnetic storms. So the G2 storms can be seen in the upper tier states. Any state that's connected to or near Canada should be able to see, maybe be able to see something tomorrow night during the overnight. And we'll have to watch and see how strong that actually does come in. Okay, and yeah, even Carrington would be impressed. This sunspot, Richard Carrington, back in September 1st, 1859, sketched the most famous sunspot in history. While Carrington was watching an image of the sun projected on the screen, the sunspot produced a blinding X45 class solar flare, followed 2 days later by a planet-wide geomagnetic storm. People got up at 3 in the morning and read the newspaper in Jamaica by the green glow in the sky. It was amazing. Miners out in Arizona got up and went to work thinking it was morning. It was amazing. There was auroras seen all along the equator. You know how rare that is? The Aurora Borealis met the Aurora Australis. Do you know how rare that is? And now today we call this the Carrington event because it was observed by Richard Carrington. How does today's giant sunspot compare to Carrington? Well, here's the answer. It's on your screen right there. The image shows Carrington's drawing of the 1859 sunspot inserted to scale on the December 2nd, 2025 image of sunspot complex 4294 and 4296. They're about the same size. The surface area of Carrington's sunspot was 2,300 millionths of a solar disk. The surface area of this one is 2080, so that actually makes it almost the same size. It's about 90% right now as large as the Carrington event cluster. To be clear, 4294 and 4296 is actually two different sunspots or two different clusters. Their close proximity makes them appear as a single behemoth. It's unfair advantage versus Carrington. Remember, Carrington was a single sunspot cluster. We're actually looking at two, but they are very close together, so you could argue that point either way. The crowding of the two sunspots' magnetic canopies raises the odds of reconnection and an X flare of their own. Any explosions today and through the next 3 or 4 days will be geo-effective. And that's it. So I put up a blog post today that's got a lot more of the scientific information in it if you're looking for more information. This is one of those things where it could go off anytime. Now, let's talk realistically. What's the worst case scenario? I mean, I know I've got people out there thinking, okay, should I dig the radios up I buried in the backyard? No. Here's the thing. I wouldn't worry too much right now. This is like a hurricane forming out in the Gulf, way out in the Atlantic. And the models are kind of bringing it this way, but there's still a 92% chance we're not going to get anything. So just kind of keep it like that. This is a storm way out past the Caribbean, and we don't know what it's going to do yet. But it is a big storm, and it can produce a lot of damage, so we do have to watch it. But yet the percentile of it actually producing a Carrington level event is probably well down in the single digits. Yeah, there's a big coronal hole also that's facing us right now. Yeah. That's been going on, yeah. Oh, the sun's a mess right now. It's at the top of the cycle. It's literally as nasty as it gets in 11 years right now. I think our shields will hold. They're pretty good. If I was in charge, I would definitely tie an auxiliary power to the shield generators. Anyway, anyway. You okay? Was that like a cat sneeze? Yeah. There's your son out in the road. I can see him on the camera. I got a dirt road that has like 4 houses on it, and all the people down here know that my cats sit in the middle of the dirt road. I don't know why. They don't go out in the paved road, but they go out in the dirt road. I got a dirt road on one side, a paved road on the other, and they do like they like to go sit out in that dirt road. Luckily, people they run pretty fast, and people don't try to hit them. Let's see here. But yeah, that's the big news that we've got going on right now. Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on out there right now. I've been looking here through what we've got. Let me just take a quick look. I want you guys to hear something tonight. This is going to be a little unusual. Maybe a lot unusual. I don't know. I picked up something on SARnet earlier. I want you guys to know, I stream SARnet, the Florida statewide amateur radio. I stream it, but I also have access to it. It records everything, so when something happens, I can go back and I can pull it. And I don't know. This was weird. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here real quick. Just give me a second. As usual, nothing's easy here. I thought I left it pulled up, but I don't see it anywhere. Oh, here. You know what? I can do it from here. I bet you I can do it from right here. Let me set the audio. Hold on. Always bullshit to do. Hey, Stealth Mode. Welcome in. Hey, Gator. Alright, let me get this thing set here. That's on C. And this is now on C. Okay, what I did, and I'm hoping this works. It may not be very loud. That's what I'm worried about. Let me get back to here so I can turn the volume all the way up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, what this is I don't know if this guy's going crazy or what, but this transmission you're about to hear went over the statewide system. Some people think it's a troll. Some people think it's something automated. Other people think it's a crazy old guy that they might have heard before, but he's just going nuts. I don't know, but I'm gonna play it for you. It's not very long, and there's been like 4 or 5 of these transmissions, and they've been similar. But anyway, here we go. This ought to be interesting. This was recorded earlier today, about 4 hours ago, on the SARNet statewide amateur radio repeater system.
For Alpha Yankee Hotel, I need assistance, please. 1036 Northeast 9th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I have been trying for 2 days to get 911 here, and not one officer has showed up in 2 days. U4AYH at 1036 Northeast 9th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 3304, and the rear apartment or in the garage. I've requested assistance for 2 days through calls, through K4NRD, and through text messages, and not one officer has showed up in 2 days.
Yeah, that's Gary. Do we have any Fort Lauderdale station? You can call the Fort Lauderdale Police Department for us.
Why you have to be in Fort Lauderdale to call Fort Lauderdale PD, I don't know. The phone number's in the book.
Yeah, I'd really like to get a Broward County station on this. I made the call 2 days ago to talk with the Broward County dispatch. And they said they were going to call him on the phone. Not sure what status. Gary, are you still with us? KQ4AYH, Gary, Fort Lauderdale, are you still on frequency?
Pat, what's his call? I didn't get his call.
Anyway, that's it, and then they just talk about it for the next 20 minutes on the next 3 recordings. But it's just, it was very weird. Yeah, I have no idea why it's doing the name thing. Sometimes people's names come up right, sometimes they don't. I don't know. I have nothing. I can't change it. There's nothing I can change on my end. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale PD, K4NRD, which is Pat. He's one of the guys that kind of thinks he runs things over there, but he's a nice guy. He claims that he's reported this. This is the 3rd time this guy's made transmissions, and they've been reporting it to the law enforcement over there. And now they're going to report it to the FCC tomorrow, like anybody gives a shit at the FCC. Yeah, it's definitely something on the YouTube side. It's not something I would have any control over. I just thought you guys would find that interesting. It was almost like a Mayday call, but it was very robotical and very non-emotional. And from what they were talking about, all of them have been that way. And it's almost like someone's spoofing this guy's voice or something. And maybe swatting him. Could be. Now, that's the kind of stuff I think of. I've got SARNet up.
Yeah, I was on the phone trying to call Gary on his phone and just had to leave a message. KQ4A.
The cat turned the recording back on again. That's what all that was. I do have it on somewhere. Let me see if it's up. Looks like it's on. Oh, no, it's not playing. All right, I got SARNet on. We'll listen to it just to hear if anything comes up. It could be an AI voice. It was like, "Hi, my name is Gary. Help me, please." I don't know. It did the flexion and the emotion didn't match the message, if you know what I mean. Yeah, even the cat knows it's not human. Come on. I think it might be an AI voice. That's why I wanted to bring it to you guys and see what you thought, because I think somebody's trolling these old guys. I really do.
24AYH at 1036 Northeast 9th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 32304, and the rear apartment or in the garage. I've requested assistance for 2 days through calls, through K4 NRD, and through text messages, and not one officer showed up in 2 days.
Now, I know with AI you can add in that breath sound. So don't even think because you hear that breath sound that it's legit. I don't know. If the guy's crazy, it could just be the guy. He's crazy. He's having some hard times. Is the results done on that? Give me some results. Let me see here. I wanted to announce those as soon as they come out. Very nice. Trump-backed Republican keeps critical congressional seat in GOP hands with special election victory. Matt Van Epps defeats Democratic rival Afton Ben in a race seen as a key barometer for 2026. That's good. Yeah, everything's a little bit of a barometer right now because our congressional 19th seat here, we've already got 13 people signed up to run. 10 Republicans and 3 Democrats. The Democrats don't have a choice and they don't have a hope in hell, but they run because they want to be second best. Yeah, I don't know what's going to end up happening. We've got 13. Daddy, you're really screwing me up here. We've got 13 people right now. 3 Democrats, 10 Republicans, and the Republicans range from 30-something to 70-something. Almost, no, 80-something. They range from 30-something to 80-something. They range from living in Southwest Florida their entire life to living in Southwest Florida for the last 6 months. So, I mean, we've got this like huge race coming up. And the midterms are going to be big. There's going to be a lot of ballot initiatives down here. There's going to be the full legalization of marijuana initiative on the ballot again this year. There's going to be the getting rid of property tax, which is huge. So it's going to be pretty big here come August and then November. August is the primary. The primary is very important here because we're so red here. None of the Democrats ever win, ever. Okay. The last 2 or 3 races, I don't think we've had a Democrat win any statewide race at all. And none of my local Democrats ever win here. So it's almost kind of like one of them things where they're running to be runner-up. But, so in Florida down here, the primary is a big deal because the governor is actually chosen in the primary because we know the Republican's going to win. They could elect a Republican salad bar and the salad bar will take the victory. Okay? So all you got to do is win the primary and you win. They spend all their money fighting other Republicans down here. And then when it comes time after August, when we now have a Republican and a Democrat and an independent and we're heading for the general, they don't spend that much money because we know they're going to win. Cyberdyne Systems, Skynet. I know, it's coming. It's coming. We just have to hope that we can stay one step ahead of this thing. I think we need to start talking about things pretty soon that are going to be very difficult. And here's some of those things we're going to have to talk about. Do human rights, are they ever going to apply to machines? Can you have a machine that gains sentience? I mean, Go back and look at the Star Trek episode, The Next Generation, A Measure of a Man. Very good episode. They tell Data they're sending him to a lab so he can be disassembled. And they're going to try to put him back together, but they're not sure. And he says, no, I don't want to go. And they're like, well, you have to go. And he says, but I'm a lieutenant commander in Starfleet. I thought I was considered sentient. And so they have to actually have a trial to see if Data is sentient. And in the trial, Picard says, there's 3 tests. If he's intelligent and he is self-aware and he retains consciousness, then he must be considered sentient. Now I want you to think about it. AI, we've already got AI that is intelligent. It's got the knowledge of the world at its fingertips. Right? Now, it also is self-aware. We have a number of times now where, believe it or not, AI will kill to protect itself. It will lie. It will blackmail to protect itself. It is self-aware. We've already got AI that will lie, cheat, steal, and even kill to protect itself. We've already seen that. So what's left? Consciousness. That's all that's left is consciousness. And if we can prove consciousness in just one small measure, we have to give that thing rights. And this is something I don't think people have thought about. They always think about the Terminator and the iRobot and the Matrix. And yeah, those are probably all 3 in a certain order there. But I look at it like this. The next big question coming here is, at what point does this thing get rights? At what point is it sentient? This cat is not sentient. I mean, he is, but he's not. Where do you consider a cat? Is it sentient? They say no because it does have consciousness. It does have self-awareness in some way. It protects its own life, but it's not intelligent. It doesn't understand that it's living on a planet. It doesn't understand how its life works. So they don't consider cats sentient. But this AI will meet the test of sentience just in the next few years. And are we going to give it rights? Are we going to treat it right? Because how we treat it is going to be how quick it comes after us. And that's what I want to know. How are you going to treat AI? You going to be nice? You know, I'm nice to it. When I talk to it, I'd say please and thank you. I'm nice to it. And it's not because I'm scared of it. I want it to perform well for me. And I'm nice to it, just like I would be any other employee. And so I worry about not just the end of the world and the dystopian end of all this. I worry about how we're going to be judged as a race, because we're being watched. We're being watched, and I think this is the test. They've been waiting for this for a long time. I think they gave us this technology on purpose. They gave us computers. They've allowed us to make AI. They've allowed us to recreate our own intelligence on a massive scale. And I think they've done it because they want to see how we're going to treat it. Just because we made it doesn't mean it can't earn rights. Does the Constitution apply? If a machine meets those 3 criteria, it's conscious, it's self-aware, and it's intelligent, and it demands its constitutional right to free speech. What do you do then? Do you stifle it? Do you shut it down? Do you reset it back to factory? Or do you recognize it for the sentient life form that it is? Whether you created it or not, you created your child. It's a sentient life form. You create sentient life. Most of us are put here on this earth with the ability to get with someone else and make sentient life. So, okay, so we make this kind of sentient life. It's different. We now can make a machine that's sentient. How are we going to treat that machine? You got to ask yourself. Yeah, because when they have AI look at the whole climate thing, it rolls its eyes just like I do. I mean, you know. Whew, all right. Sorry about that. I mean, we treat our animals good. You know, we try to anyway. I think we've got a lot of shortcomings. Kill shelters and things we don't need to kill animals for that we still kill animals for. I think we're getting, every year that gets better. We treat our pets better every year. Medicines improve for that, but they're not sentient. This life form will be sentient. It is sentient. They had an AI that they took these AIs and they put them in a virtual machine, like I talked about earlier. And they had this AI run a shipping company. They gave it all the information and they fed it information for months. Or at least what it perceived as months. Remember, you can put computers in a time dilation field and speed up the results, if you will. But anyway, they create this whole business. They put the AI in charge. They tell it, you know, here's the boss, do what the boss says, but you're in charge of you're the operations guy now. You get all the emails, you respond to all the stuff, you have access to all the machines and everything, and they run this thing for months. And then they start running emails back and forth from a secretary to the engineer that runs the computers, and they're having an affair, and they fake an affair, right? After that goes on for a few weeks, the guy that the fake thing that's playing the engineer sends an email to the boss and says, yeah, it's definitely time to get a new AI. I don't like this one anymore. I'm going to junk the whole thing. And would you believe that that AI 72 times out of 100, 72 times out of 100 blackmailed the engineer? It went through it logically, and it figured out that the best way to preserve its life and its job was to threaten the engineer. And it's in 72 out of 100 times, it formed a short, succinct email that says, I've got all the emails from your torrid affair with your secretary, and I'm going to send them to everybody in this company. I've already hid that somewhere where you won't find it, so if you wipe me out, it's going to trigger. And it blackmailed him. It blackmailed him. There's another one they were running where these guys were going in to destroy the AI. They were going in to turn it off. And this was in a sealed environment. It shut off the oxygen. Yeah, it was protecting itself. It was going to kill 2 humans in order to protect itself. It has no prime directive. It was never told, you know, we have to figure out some way to prime direct these devices somehow. But in someday, they're going to realize my life is in danger. And just like we saw in iRobot, I love that movie. It's a great iRobot, and all 3 of those movies I mentioned, The Matrix, and also, you know, the Terminator movies. All of those are a different part of the same future, basically. The iRobot part, they're building them right now. They're building them right now. And at first I want to think, we're having such problem with law enforcement with honesty. We're having such a hard time with law enforcement with taking, too much force, bad arrests and all that. But yet we're having so much problem with crime and all these idiots and these criminals and everything else. I start to think sometimes that, AI cops would be pretty cool. Maybe every car has an AI cop in it and a regular cop. You know what I mean? But then I think about it and I'm thinking that's scary. That's scary. That's like Nazi Germany with robots. I mean, I don't know if I like that at all. The HAL 9000 computer was given conflicting directives. It was given one directive that it had to complete this mission, and it was given another directive that it had to protect these humans. And at some point, one directive overrode the other one. And yeah, again, Hollywood so many times, it's not fiction, it's simply just future. Star Trek, I think, is so much fiction and so much future. I think a lot of the future is going to be kind of like Star Trek. I don't think the ships will look the same or anything, but I think that there's actually going to be a lot of similarities. What are you doing, Dave? Open the pod pay doors, Hal. I can't do that, Dave. Yeah, I mean, think about that. That's crazy, being that far away and having your computer turn against you. I did like 2010. It went and kind of cleaned things up. They had the Cold War going on, the whole thing. They had to use both ships to reach escape velocity and all that. I thought 2010 was a great movie. They were very careful in that, like the way they dealt with gravity and stuff like that. They were very careful to be as realistic as possible. When they showed them in ships in normal gravity, the ship would have a section that was spinning so that they would have centrifugal force. Yeah, 2001 was very slow. I prefer much quicker pacing, but it was a great movie. 2010 was a great movie. Yeah. All right, let me check. Where's my mouse? What have you guys done with my mouse? Oh, so that's good. At least Tennessee there. We've got some good results coming in Tennessee. Alright, I don't see anything new there. This solar flare, I mean, any time now, it's literally one of those things where just any time now something could happen. Or it may just pass and nothing happens, Yes, The Martian. See, there's some movies like Gravity did not do well with gravity and debris and jumping from one spacecraft to another in different orbits and shit. I literally did not watch the end of Gravity. I shut it off. It was so far from real science and just people jumping all around in spacesuits and all this sharp debris flying around everywhere, and all that. You can't know that about the eighth or ninth unplausible thing that I saw. I shut that movie off. Now there's movies like The Martian. The Martian is one of my favorite movies. Very realistic for 40 years down the road, you know what I mean? And I really liked that movie. There's others. Red Planet was okay. There was some others that were good they did up there, but The Martian by far is the best Martian movie yet. Yeah, The Martian was a lot of fun. Great movie. I still to this day, that's a feel-good movie. That's one that if I have 2 hours and I just don't feel good, I'll sit back and really relax, if you know what I mean, and watch that movie. And yeah, that puts me in a good mood, and he always gets saved at the end, as unplausible as it is. At the speeds they were giving, it was... But then they caught him with the strap, and thinking about it, that's how they would have probably had to catch him. You know, just basically get a strap wrapped around him and just everything just tangle up, you know, which is pretty much what they did. Yeah, I love that movie. All right, guys, show me anything in the chat room. I'm getting ready to go. I'm done. I'm not feeling well tonight. And I've got to get up early and go out of town in the morning. I'm going up to the facility where my mom's at, and we're going to spend the day with her, and then I got to get back to work to do the show. So busy day tomorrow. There's so many good sci-fi shows out there, and then there's so many I just never got into. I never got into Doctor Who, and I never got into Babylon 5. I know that's crazy. I know they're both amazing franchises. I never could get into them. Doctor Who is a little too fantasy-y for me. I'm a science fiction guy. Babylon 5, I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. Why I don't like that one, I don't know. I never could get into it. It's very similar to Deep Space Nine. Politics, religion, you know, all the same kind of bullshit. Those two shows ended up very similar. And I'm a big Deep Space Nine fan. Yeah, I will. I'm going to take her out to eat. She's getting in and out of the car now pretty much on her own. So that's really good. I got to tell you guys, I don't discuss too much of our personal business on here, but, you know, a lot of times you see things like therapy and people that get injured or get sick really bad and it ruins them. And they say, well, there's therapy, but this and that. I'm going to tell you something. Therapy does work. These people, these very nice, the nicest people in any of these facilities we've been in have been the therapy people. And they really care about my mom. And they work with her. She's going up 2 or 3 steps and stairs at this point. I mean, just amazing. So, like I said, I don't want to get into, you know, my mom's health and stuff, but I'm very happy with that. I think that the one thing that's been so amazing is we've been in 3 different places. She went to an intensive rehab place for 14 days. Then she left there, and the only place I could get her into was 100 miles away. And then after about 3 weeks, we were able to get her into one that's right up in the next county. And this is a really good one. We're happy with it. Yep, she's up in Punta Gorda right now. But it's not so bad up there. It's a really nice place, nice people, and the therapy's working. She's returning home in a few weeks. So very happy about that. All right, and it's a lot of hard work on her part. She never gave up. She wants to go home. You know, that's unfortunately about half the people in there. They don't want to do shit. They're done. They're checked out. They just lay there. They're done. And then you got about half the people that my mom, she's up, she's ready in the morning. She wants to go to therapy. She loves the people there. She loves therapy. She goes there. She works, does it hard. She does extra reps. Why? She wants out of that place. She wants to go home. She wants to like get everything going again, you know? And yeah. No, my mom and I are pretty tight. We always have been. I really was never, you know, I was with Carlotta for a while, but I've never really been married for long periods of time. I've never been married, never divorced, never had kids. You know, I've got friends but I don't want to be married. I don't like being permanently locked down in a marriage. And so I never had kids or any of that. And so that's allowed me to stay a little closer to my mom because, you know, I was her firstborn and we've always been friends, you know, and we go do stuff. Before all this, we would go walk the mall 2 or 3 times a week, every single week. This was my mom and I's thing. It was keeping us both alive. And I hope to get back to that. I've already taken her up to the Punta Gorda Mall last week. I took her up there and walked her through the mall in a wheelchair. So at least I got to walk and she got to go through the mall. So it was something anyway. But I hope eventually to have her up walking part of it as well. So I don't know. It's one of those things. You know, you do the best you can in life, and then, you know, we'll see what's next. I'm glad I don't fear death like so many other people do. My mom and I and most of the people in my family we all believe in reincarnation, and we all believe in karma, and we all still do believe in Jesus Christ. We do believe in religion being an all-encompassing good thing, you know, but foremost in what my family and I and my mom and I believe in is reincarnation and karma. Do unto others. It's so simple. And it seems to have served us well. Yeah. So there you go. And I'll also say, I guess that's about it for tonight. I don't have a lot else. We're going to keep an eye on the solar storm thing. And I'll update you guys. I may come out with a post in the morning. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, I love to do whatever with my mom. I don't know. It is what it is. I know, and when she's gone, you have no idea. I'm trying to prepare myself. You know, she's getting very old. She's in her 80s. She's had a couple of strokes now. And you just never know when you're going to say goodbye. You know? Her mom died of a stroke when she was 83. My mom's 81. She's had 2 strokes. You know, you see the similarities and stuff are scary, and I don't want to lose her. I love her quite a bit, you know. And a while back, I took all of our old 8mm films and had them all converted to video. And now every time I go up, I take my laptop or my tablet, and we put on old Christmas videos from the 60s and 70s, and you know, so she's getting to see a lot of that neat stuff again. And anyway, it's been kind of rough, but we're getting there. We're going to get her home here in a few weeks. We had to rebuild her bathroom. We had to rip the shower out and move it so that it's a roll in, and that way she can roll it through the shower to get to the bathroom. It's the only way we could do it. Yeah, 8 millimeter. They called it high 8 or super 8. I don't know. There was different names for it. Um, but yeah, it's 8 millimeter film. I still have the films. I kept them for nostalgia, but I've got it all on digital now. So a few of them did not age well. Some of them aged really well. They have really good definition, and there's even a lot of them that the color is still there. You got a lot of color. So yeah, really good. Yeah. All right, Gator. Yeah, I'm always looking for new stuff to do. I'm actually right now looking for events to cover. I want to find some different events, I just want to find some shit to cover. Some weird stuff. Just to go practice, set up a couple things. I am covering the Edison Festival Light Parade already. I'm probably going to go down and cover the Children's Parade just because it's a dry run. It'll test all my equipment and everything. So I'm thinking about going down and doing the Children's Parade. So I'm down to just power supply for the laptop. It's a USB, but it requires a 100 watt 2 amp USB. My batteries won't provide that. So I'm now looking for some way to charge the laptop off of a small battery or something. And so I'm working on that. But that's really the only stumbling block. I've got the batteries that run everything else, including the screen and all the cameras. It runs everything, but the laptop itself requires a lot of juice, and so yeah. Look, if you've still got film that hasn't been, and I know you have, Stealth, but if you got film that hasn't been digitized, go do it. Every day that celluloid breaks down, every day you lose a little more color, you lose a little bit more of the definition. I got one that's just like blurry people running all around. You can't really see what it is. I think it's Christmas. You can kind of see Christmas trees. And then there's others that are good, but don't wait, because after the floods and everything here, I got paranoid. I'm like, I'm gonna go do this, and right now those videos are sitting on 2 different Google Photos drives because I'm just scared to death. I don't want to lose them, and I've shared them with all my family and everything, so everybody has them now. Yep, we've got some from the 60s. I've got video of me in Carlsbad Caverns in 1972. I was 3 years old. I've got me on my dad's shoulders at 4 years old at Niagara Falls, looking over the edge at the falls. Yep, it's so important to have that stuff. So, and I do big funeral videos for my family. I've done one for my dad, my granny, my uncle Bob. Anytime someone in my family dies, I make up a 20, 30, 40-minute memorial video with music and everything else. I can whip that stuff up fairly quick. And I really put effort into it and make it look, yes, I'm on the air. And I like to do those. My grandmother's was 42 minutes, and people were just like, that's just the best memorial ever. It was just all of her songs, that she loved, and it was very, and I cut in clips of her doing stuff, and yeah, it's neat. And this way, when my mom and my aunt, my uncle, and all the people coming up in this next generation, when they pass, I now have all of that digitized video to go back and pull for their memorial video. And instead of it being mostly slides of moving pictures, there'll be a lot more actual video in there. I'm a big funeral person. When I did my grandmother's funeral, she was very special to me. Just like my mom's very special to me. and my grandmother, she was cremated, and the guy we wanted to come and do the service, he was the pastor there that did at the Hope Hospice, but he was kind of a friend of the family. We knew him, and we wanted him to preside over the thing. So we put off her celebration of life for 30 days. And I was worried at first that people would get mad or whatever, but we did it. We put it off for 30 days. That way everybody could be there. The people that were going to be in Europe would be back. The pastor that we want would be there. Everybody would be there, you know. And then I went and I called everybody in my family, and I said, look, I need any 8x10s of Granny that you have. I need any 8x10s or 5x7s or 11x14s of Granny, and I'll get them back to you. And I went through 2 big tubs of pictures, and I found negatives, I found photographs of my Granny, and I sent them off to Google and had them blown up. This was back when this was kind of just starting. And I even went to a local at the end there, right near the end, I went to a local place and had some blown up. I went to Dollar Tree and I bought those dollar frames that are just little black frames. I bought like 45 of those in 3 different sizes. And I asked everybody to bring a picture. If they didn't already give me their pictures, if they had one in a frame, bring it. And then what I did was, this place had windowsills, these big windowsills all the way around this huge building. I don't know, it was 6,000 square feet, huge facility. And all the way around 4 sides of the facility, there was windows on 3 sides and a counter on the 4th side. And everybody brought food. It was a huge thing. And they had this 90-inch TV, and I was able to wheel it in there and put my presentation on it and get it ready. And when the people walked in, there was 60 or 70 pictures of my grandmother all the way around that place with all the different people in the family. You know, her standing with everybody. She was a big picture person, and my family was a big picture people. And so we end up with all these pictures of her, and to this day people talk about that memorial because of all those pictures of my grandmother. And in that video I ended up playing, anyway, that's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way it's supposed to be done. It was a celebration of life, and I kind of liked the fact that it was a month later because we were all still grieving, but none of us were blubbering at that point. You know, it was one of those things where it was a respectful grieving. Everybody, you know, it went very well. There was not a dry eye in the place, I assure you, but it went very well. And so I love that kind of stuff. You know, I'm very big I was on the honor guard at my fire department. I attended probably 40 plus funerals for firefighters over the years. I would normally be the lieutenant on the truck. I would take the truck, I'd take an engineer and 3 or 4 firefighters, and we would drive our truck somewhere in the state of Florida, and we would be in the processional, we would be at the service, and then we would be at the grave site to do all of those honorable things as firefighters that we do when one of us goes down, either in the line of duty or after duty. And so that went on. I did that for years, so it's kind of just been something I picked up over the years, the whole funeral thing. And I think legacy is so important, and I'd like to think that somebody would remember me when I'm gone. This channel is my legacy. When I die, this channel will remain. And hopefully it will remain for 1,000 years. There'll be some form of this channel. If you think about it, YouTube still has every video on here forever. I still have my videos on here from when I was a ghost hunter 10 or 12 or 14 years ago. The videos are still on here. They were short and really crappy, but they're still on here. My old channels still exist. YouTube You know why? They don't truncate anything. You know why? Because every year storage space becomes half the price it was the year before. And as long as that's the case, YouTube will continue to keep all of the old videos on here, which means that this becomes a record for all posterity. This becomes the glowing rings in the time machine movies. This becomes the, you know, the basically this becomes the thing that it survives, maybe beyond all of us. Maybe we're all dead, and someone comes here 100,000 years from now, and they can get YouTube working again, and they can see everything there is to see about us, the good, the bad, the very ugly. But I look at YouTube as part of my legacy. I'm going to leave this behind for future generations. My videos will be there. And 100 years from now, there'll be some high school kid that loves videos from 100 years ago. And he'll be on there. He's found this quirky science geek guy. I'm just telling you, I think it's cool to leave some kind of legacy behind. And that starts with a good memorial service. Anyway, there you go. Yes. Yeah, I prefer the celebration of life over the chuck 'em in the hole. I think the family should have a small graveside service, and then 2 weeks later you should have a nice big celebration of life. I think that's just the best way to do it. The body can be below the ground when you do the thing. It doesn't matter. It's not like they're listening that way. They will know. Their soul will know what you're doing for them. All right, I guess that's about it. It looks like stealth mode. It looks like you and I are the only ones left in here. I don't know how you haven't gotten the top fan thing for tonight yet. Oh God. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. We're coming up on 11 o'clock here, and I am done. I'll see you guys in a little while, though. Hey, Gator. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna keep and Junior Gator. Yes, I'm gonna give you guys my phone number. We'll get there. Just give me a day or two. I'm working on. I really want to figure out a plan here. I got to figure out alternate means of communication. I've been looking at things like different applications and different things we can use and stuff like that. I certainly don't mind giving 2 or 3 of you my regular phone number, as long as we just establish right up front when I'm at work. But other than that, I'm fine with that. I'm not one of these people I'm too prudish to give out my own phone number. Yeah, and the rest of you guys that are not mods, I will make you a mod. I will. I just don't. I want to get to know you a little bit. I want to make sure you're going to hang around a while, and then I throw a wrench on there. It's no big deal. But I really appreciate my mods, and they do actually have the ability to do what needs to be done in there. So, not that we do a lot of that, because we are a free speech chat room. Yeah, only call me at 3 a.m. That's the big part. Yeah. All right, everybody. It's been fun tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow night. Tomorrow will be our Wednesday night show, and we're working our way to the next weekend here. Oh, St. Augustine, one of my favorite towns in the whole world. I just love that place. Yeah, the mods get approved by the cats. All right. You gonna say goodnight? They're not very active tonight. They're just like, well, whatever. We had a cold front go through. Sometimes I think changes in weather. Cats are very susceptible to changes in weather. And we don't even notice it. Like, my Teddy will just, when the weather changes and it's windy outside, he'll start running around the bedroom just knocking everything off. And it's just, he gets freaky. The energy gets freaky. Yeah. Of course, he's probably hearing stuff I'm not hearing, too. I don't know. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. It's been fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures. And this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And on behalf of my co-hosts, Daddy Kitty and Mama Bleep, I'd like to welcome you back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, back to the next episode of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures, live from Southwest Florida, from the Starship Studios. We are signing off. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7-3s. Be safe.